Welcome to the Listen My Podcast. I am your host, Davidito, and we back like we never left. And since we back, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Today's guest is coming to us from Georgia. We're going to learn a little bit about his journey from going from engineering to painting shoes to cutting sole from scratch, designing and building his own custom shoes. What drives him? What makes him want to do this as an entrepreneur? Without any further ado, Martez, welcome to the podcast.
Listen, it takes wisdom to grab these sneakers and spin them. Cut a couple of linen and match them up with the denim core. Davidito, he'll cook it up like a kilo and have your Air Ones appropriate with the stilo. He's no Lilo, but he's mean with the stitch.
Glad to be here.
Yes,
Thanks for
sir. Yes,
having
sir.
me. Thanks for reaching out. Appreciate it. Sorry I had to reschedule or whatnot, but man, I thought about you the other day. I said, you know what? I gotta hit this brother back, man. I don't want him to think I'm just standing him up, man. So I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and hit him back. So I
I
appreciate you,
appreciate it.
understanding and rescheduling.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. I was like, oh man, he ghosted me, but
I'm like, I don't want to do it. No, I ain't gonna do you like that.
uh, for the audience, let us know who you are, where you're from, a little bit about your background.
Okay, all right. First off, Martez Walden, husband, son, father, entrepreneur. So I'm the owner, operator of Krown9kustoms, where I specialize in customizing shoes, not just painting, but also recon, decon. I dibble and dabble with restorations, but I try not to be solely into it because it takes a lot of time. But I do cleats as well. So I just just a dope guy, like to make dope things. So yeah, background electrical engineer, career wise, I'm an inside sales engineer for switchgear company. I ain't gonna say which one because you hear
Yeah.
some of my CDs. Oh, there go Tez. I know him. I work with him. but yeah, I've been customizing since 2020. Started off with painting, and then some way somehow I transitioned to the recon and decon space, and ever since then I've been at it full throttle. So I'm not a full time customizer. So I'll say I'm part time, but hopefully, like I said, with God's plan, I can make that transition and do what I love, full time.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, yeah.
So what got you into customizing shoes? You said you started in 2020. What made you say, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try this?
Pretty much COVID, got bored, to be honest. That's how everybody thought, man. I got bored, everything was shut down, so I'm out here in Atlanta, Georgia. So it wasn't too much anything you could do. I think one case I might have had a whole bunch of white Air Jordan, one lows, right? So my wife might have said, "Hey, yeah, you talking about you want a Gucci colorway? Hey, you might well go ahead and paint some of them shoes while we got time." Because at the time, the company we was with, we was with John Deere, and we both
Mhm.
separated from the company, right? So we just had time on our hands before we even moved down to Atlanta. So I said, you know what? So I started off, I was painting up there and whatnot for a little bit, just practicing. And then I said, well, I got the time now. I can really, get into this. So fast forward, 2020, COVID happened. And I might have painted this one shoe, the Gucci colorway, might have posted it, got all kind of views, some good responses, and next thing you know, I had someone else say, I want you to paint me a pair. And next thing you know, it just started off from there. So I've always been in the sneakers. I'm a huge sneakerhead. Now there's a difference between a sneakerhead and sneaker consumer. I just didn't buy shoes. It was the reason why I would buy the shoe if it had a particular story, or it just, or it just meant something special. But it got to a point where I got tired of seeing or having the same shoes that everybody else had on. So I was like, you know what? I think I might want to do my own thing and just, you know, customize my own pairs. But it turned out to everybody else wanted stuff done, and boom, turned into a customizer.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So, um, talk about I I do custom shoes and stuff as well. I haven't gotten to the recon space yet. I want to get there. We'll get to that later. But
Right.
talk a little bit about like the journey and maybe some of the obstacles that you've gone through as far as learning how to do this. Right. So, one of the things that I always say is creating is problem solving.
Yep.
And this comes with so many obstacles and learning like the right paint and so on and so forth. Like talk a little bit about that part of your journey.
So yeah, starting off in that early painting phase. So I think I painted for I think 2023. That's when I pretty much transitioned out completely. So I did 3 full years, full years of painting. So over that time, just learning, how to get the certain hues, the right mixtures, the prepping. Oh man, I think with paint, it was very detailed and very a very, let me see, simple but complicated. Someone
Hmm.
probably, if you didn't do step A correct, then step D would not be right. So I think it
Yep.
all came down to learning how to prep, the correct way to prep, the correct way to mask certain areas you don't want painted, how not to make the paint bleed into a certain area that you didn't want painted, so man, it's just the challenges that was there where I just didn't have the experience. So with the experience, it just comes with time and just pretty much practicing. So I got to practice on pretty much orders because I didn't have time to practice on my own joints. So you know what? Let these people know ahead of time. Hey, I'm new to the game. I'm learning, but I'm gonna put my best effort forward, put my best foot forward to make sure I create a good product. So, but yeah, man, once it got down to the science of once it's all done, what sealant to use because I struggled with that Angelus
Hmm.
Duller.
Hmm.
Oh man, if you didn't want it too glossy, put that little duller in there. But if you add too much duller, then it get all chalky.
Yeah.
That chalk look. But then caught on to liquid kicks. Liquid
Mm.
kicks had some good sealant where it's like you had the factory, you had the matte sealant, and you had just the ultra the glossy. So I think that what made it easier to understand. Okay, I can use as just paint and I can also use liquid kicks sealant to create a great product. So just trying to figure out what to use, how to use it, and when to use it. Because man, it's so many products that you can use, and another thing is a lot of gatekeeping keeping in the painting
Mm.
world, where you might ask an artist, "Hey, how did you get your your color so vibrant or so bold?" They go, "Well, find out." They don't just tell you. I'm like, man. So it was a lot of that when I
Yeah.
was, going through it coming up. So I think that was another challenge. Not a lot of people that was willing to help. So I would say that. So yep.
Yeah. So, what would you say was your favorite shoe to work on? I've seen a lot of Jordan ones and Jordan 1 lows in some of your earlier stuff. What would you say was your favorite shoe to work on?
From a painting
Yeah,
perspective,
from a painting perspective.
man, it was. I know, I guess it was the frac shoes I used to do. I did a lot of shoes for the Brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So shout out to them good brothers. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Gamma Epsilon, yo. So man, I always laugh about that, man. I mean, it was just something about it. It was that old gold and that royal purple, that mixture, and with that the contrast of white. I mean, it was just such a dope, clean shoe, and crazy thing, it was so dope. Nike decided they wanted to make their own version called
Mm.
the AJ1 Brotherhood. I said, well, but after those came out, I still got a lot more business from the brothers, so I really did appreciate that. So yeah, them Air I think those pretty much had to be my favorite ones because it was so many different versions, so I got it down pat to like I guess the 2023. So I say 2023 versions where they was perfect. When I mean perfect, I mean perfect to a point where I sent them to the customers and all they did was frame them. They didn't even wear
Yeah.
them. Like you'll see them every now and then, but I'm like, wow. I did a golf pair, a golf Air Jordan 1, not Air, I'm sorry, Air Jordan 11 golf pair. That was pretty cool, a little abstract art. I did a nice Howard custom. And man, there's so many earlier projects I've done where I'm like, man, that was pretty cool. So I enjoy majority. It's not one custom that I regret doing. I think one clean one I can remember was Alexander McQueen I've done. It was
Mm.
all white. It wasn't ran down, but pretty much you can only wear those so many times where the white just fades. So I did a
Yeah.
nice little patina cognac um paint job on it, and I mean, wow. I mean, yeah, those suckers was beautiful. I tried, I
Yeah.
dibble dabble with the whole anime drawing thing. That ain't my lane. I try, I tried to do a bleach custom, like it came out cool, but like the guys like Color Me Fresh or what's another artist that's really dope when it comes to that artistry. I can't remember the names on top of my head, but I know Color Me Fresh was one that, man, you see his artwork, like, God dog, like,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I like,
Serato
yeah,
was like that too.
yeah,
Serato was
yeah.
definitely like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah, I said,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
ain't my lane right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stick to the cool colorways, a nice clean custom. That's my avenue. I'm gonna stick right there.
Yeah. So you mentioned
Yeah.
something when you were talking that made me think about what is his name now? Shoe Surgeon. So
Shoe sir, yep,
you were
dog.
saying
Yep,
like
yep,
you
yep,
you were making this style of shoe and then Nike made its own, right? Which made
yep.
me think about the situation that he's been dealing with Nike hired him to do some stuff and then decided to sue him, right? Which I mean is crazy in its own right, but there's so many other people who've made something or created something as a custom for somebody, and
Mhm.
a big company has basically took that idea and put it on the shelves and then attacked them for it. So
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I look at it like this. We're free. We're independent contractors that don't get paid. I'll say it like that. So we're using their product. So buyers using their product. We don't have no rights, honestly, to it. So when it comes to the construction side of things, I follow all the guidelines, no mass production, using I call it authentic, quote unquote, authentic shoes in order to salvage the sole from. So each shoe I do comes as an authentic Nike uh soul. So
mhm.
pretty much that what justifies the whole custom and legitimize the process of you recon and deconning. Because once you buy a product, you can't tell me, no one can tell you what to do
What
with
to
the
do with
product
it?
you
Yeah,
purchase. So, but as long as you're not, you popping out 100 of these, and or same one, you got a whole factory producing them. So I try to do everything, right, by the book. So then, yeah. So once I do, like, most of my customers are one on ones. So once I do meet with a client and we talk about it, and that's their particular design, I'm not gonna replicate it again.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
try. I try to do the same thing unless I made. I've only now at this point I've only done two, but I did both pairs at the same time. It
yeah.
hasn't been like what I'm saying, like separate or anything like that. So
Right, right, right. And then if you're the artist that's doing the work the whole time, like, yeah, if you want to make 20 of them, you can. They're not following you about that. But if you have, let's say, a whole team, and each team makes 20 apiece, that's called, it's basically mass production.
yeah,
That case, I mean, yeah.
yeah, it becomes an
Yeah.
issue. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
that's
for
where the
sure.
issue starts. They don't have a problem with you customizing. They love it. They love everything about it. But
Yeah,
once you
free
start getting,
ideas, of
yeah,
course.
free ideas. But once you start getting too big, and you doing way too much out there, oh yeah, they gonna come knocking your door.
Yeah, for sure,
Sure.
for sure. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm curious at, and I mean, I could see the transition, like on your Instagram and that kind of stuff, from you making the jump from painting to now sewing your own shoes, basically from scratch and picking your materials and so on and so forth. What made you say, "I'm going to make this jump"?
Oh man, I just felt like that was the next best level. Like, I look at it from my career perspective. Doing something, doing the same thing for, let's say, 5, 10 years, you doing the same thing. You're not trying to progress and get to the next level. What's the point of you doing it? For now, you can keep on doing it. If that's what you like to do. Oh, that's great. Now, if you get better and better each time you do it, and that's perfect. But setting goals, for yourself to set yourself up for success is what I think is most important. So how I apply that from a career perspective to like my business perspective, I had like a pretty much 3-year plan. And I set out for myself, say, hey, all right, my medium goal, okay, I want to get to construct the recon and decon shoes, right? How I'm gonna get there? I can jump right in it, or I can, start off from the ground, start off from ground zero with that was pretty much about painting. So painting, they gave me an opportunity to appreciate the craft and the culture of customization, and then pretty much save up for that next phase because all the I guess all the income I got from painting, I pretty much saved that and invested into the next chapter, which was recon and decon. So just doing painting, I just happened during COVID, just happened to stumble across shoe surgeon, and I saw where he was offering classes. I'm like, all right, how much the class running? So back then the class was running about like $5,000. I said, woof. I was like, okay, all right, well, let me now I know what I need to do. So I'm saving up, all right, for that. I'm like, all right, cool. Then let's say a year goes by like 2021. I think it was 2021, 2022. I think it was 2021. Might have been 2022. I took my first class. And I stumbled across matter of fact, Ray from SD Customs. He used to work with shoe surgeon and he was offering the class. And he might have gave me some prices like, wait, this is like 50% cheaper than shoe surgeon. And then when I said, you know what, I want to take it around my birthday. He said, well, if you book this this is that class, I give you, give you a discount. Which you did, I booked, and from there the rest was history. I think that was the best 4 days of my life in San Diego learning this new skill. And to say, hey, okay, I got this skill, what I'm gonna do with it next. So now putting all the time and effort invested, my machines, materials, and just in my craft, just pouring everything I got in to get to where I'm at today. And I say, okay, what's the next step? When I'm thinking from today, eventually I want to have my own shoe, my own deal,
Mhm.
like Deb from Saya. I think he started off as a customizer. That's one brother I know who started off from customizing to getting his own shoe. Because there's a difference between I have my own shoe, but you just got your own shoe. People like to hear a story and say, okay, how did you get here? Because really, that was the ultimate goal right there. I want to have my own sneaker, my own shoe. So step back, how do you get there? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So you touched on something that, for me, that speaks volumes, right? And that's basically goal setting.
yeah,
Um, Talk one a little bit about that and how important that is when in doing anything, right? Whether it's
yeah.
your career or this or life, but talk a little bit about that for us.
Man, I shout out to my wife. Yeah, shout out to my wife. She hits me on the head all the time about setting your goals, preparing yourself for success. Because it's easy to wake up every day, but it's insane to do the same thing over and over again and expect the same results.
Mm.
So if you got something you can go by to say, hey, all right, I want to do X, Y, and Z. All right, cool. And every day you can look at what can I do today to do X? What can I do today to do Y? Okay, what can I do for Z? So I think what's important when you set them goals, you're setting up or you writing down expectations for yourself for what you want to accomplish. So I think that's very important to say, hey, this year I want to do cleats. I want to at least have 3 pair of cleats completed and just out there for whomever. How you gonna do that? You gotta practice. You gotta reach out to people, or you gotta at least show that you can produce cleats. That was my whole deal. I think I did 2 cleats so far last year. So this year is like, all right, I do want to hit my number of 3. So I definitely look at that goal like as a big goal to say, hey, I'm doing custom recon decons, but I also want to dibble and dabble and focus around cleats during the football season, you know. So yeah, by setting them goals out for myself, still practicing, still doing, creating content, putting products out there, speaking with customers, with clients, trying to, reach some of them football players and say, hey, this is what I do. If you're interested, let me know. I'd love to work with you. Just putting yourself out there. So yeah, setting goals is very important to get to the next level because yeah, I can wake up every day and just push out product. But that's a good and a bad thing because how am I developing? What's my personal development looking like? Like, what am I doing to even get better? Yes, I'm doing everything I need to do to run this business, but besides that, what's the other stuff I need to be focusing on? So, if you don't have them goals set out, you can definitely lose focus on what needs to be focused on compared to what you're doing day to day. So I look at that even in my career path. I do what I do every day compared to what my goals set out to do. Yeah, I did this every single day, but on the other side, it's like, damn, it was so much other stuff I had to do that I didn't touch on. So yeah, so write them goals down. Look at them every day, or even two, 3 times a week, or maybe once a week, just to see where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say has been your business motto with trying to grow this as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. My business motto, promise to finish with love.
Mm.
That's my business. That's my business model. Whatever I put my hands on, whatever I decide I want to do, just make sure love is the first thing that's thought about before you do it. So I always say it's not about the money. More so it's about the peace that I receive, sharing this skill or this talent with someone else. So whenever I start, I like to have a clean mindset. I love to have a clean room and just clean space and just pour everything I have that's within me uh uh into a product or into something that's like I said, it's not nothing there. All you got is materials and a base soul. But next thing you know, you got a whole shoe.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So that's interesting. Why lead with love versus
oh
anything
man,
else?
man, when you think about, because I think love is so powerful. Man, no matter what you do, it can be the love for the game. Like my favorite movie. What it was like, I don't care. It's about the game. He said, I love the girls that paid in full. Man,
Mm.
it's about the hustle. It's got to be something that keeps you going. I always think it's the love because people come to me because they love sneakers, right? They love sneakers. They love being fly. They love being different. They love being unique. So
Mhm.
I love be able to give that to them. So it's like a satisfaction I get when I can produce or I can give I can put your vision and make it a reality. So I think that's where the love come from because man, you can if you're doing it for the money, I feel like once you do it for the money, you lose focus on the scope of what's important. So it's more so I'm my goal is I want to make you happy. Now I want to get paid on it. This ain't for free. This don't get you can't
Yeah,
pay this with love, but man, at the end of the day, we're both getting something out of it. But I say when I finish with love, I'm finishing with the best intentions I have in order to make this product and deliver it to the client, to the customer.
yeah. So how do you speaking about getting paid and getting what you may feel like you're worth for what you're doing? How do you go about pricing what you what product that you're giving people?
Oh man, that's yeah. I figured that out a long time ago. I look at what the other artists that's on the same level as me or better than me charging. Now, y'all all know shoe surgeon is top dog. Customs ranges from 7,000 to 10,000. I think the cheapest I seen his custom go was for 5,000. So I'm like, all right, well, let me dial it back down and see, okay, how much does it actually cost for producing the custom. So that's where some of my bills came in at to say, all right, it takes me about 40 hours to build a custom from scratch, from layout to the finished product, right? So you look at the materials we use from a base material perspective and from I say from a luxury or exotic materials perspective. So like, okay, well that's my price point for this. Boom. All right. What materials I need to produce it? All right, you got your last, you got your pattern, you got your inner construction materials you might for your for your backing, your thermoplastics, or different things. All right, this is a certain number. So then again, I put all that together. Like, all right, this is my number. All right, let me make sure. Let me compare this to what other artists are charging. So that's the perfect thing. Like they got websites, check them out. And a lot of the dope artists that I look up to and I follow, we follow each other, and I look at that page like, oh, okay, if so and so charges 1,800 for this, I'm gonna charge 1,800 for it because I mean it makes sense. Now you can look at some artists who undercharge themselves. I'm
Hmm.
like, well, it's a lot of time that go into this, and I can't do it for that. Now, shout out if you make it work and you can give it to that price, fine. Because I done had a lot of people come to me and say, hey, well, so and so is charging this. I said, okay, well, feel free to reach out to so and so. Well, he's busy. He won't be able to get to me. So I'm like, hey, let me know you decide to change your mind. I'll be able to work with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to set my price to be my price. And like I said, I can have some wiggle room to say, hey, well, if this is out your budget, then maybe we can probably scale something back. But that's how I come up with that price. And that's just doing the work and understanding, what the price of these customs going for. Because you can be at the the beginner level, and then you can be at the expert level. I think where I'm at now, I won't call myself an expert, but I'm not far from a beginner. Because basically, like I said, I've been building since, let's say, I like really well, like 2023. So, but yeah, as you get better and better, you get more experience. I think your time is value is a lot more. So I think I can say now, like what my base entry level custom is, it starts at 1,500. So, and that's the full deal. But yeah, once you start adding, exotics, you want this, you want that, and that's when that price, goes up. I think the most expensive custom I've done yet came up to 3,300. So it's a lot that goes into it, especially when you look at your exotics, like your alligator, your shell cordovan. Shell cordovan is one of the most expensive materials you can use on a shoe that comes on your Justin and Murphys, your Allen Edmonds, your them high quality dress shoes, and then you throw them gators in there, like one gator, like a hide of a grade one, depending on the thickness or I mean the width, it can run you almost close to 5 to 6. The most expensive gator I saw was about like 1,000. It was a special color, Himalayan, all that. I mean, whoa. So you start throwing that extra stuff in there, man, that price goes up real fast.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
So
yeah,
one of the things that you didn't mention as an expense is the machines, man. Yeah, you got this big sewing machine sitting behind you.
yeah. And
Uh,
that's only one you see. It's three in the matter of fact, it's four machines in this room. So I have my latest one is my Adler 888 Eco. I paid 45 for the 4,500 for this. The one that's in front of me is my Atlas 815. This machine I bought right after I finished my class in San Diego. This one was about I paid I think it was 12 no like 1,300. I got a sidewall stitcher right here that was 3,500, and I got my skiving machine right here in front of me that was I believe that one was 1,200, and I have a sole press outside that was 25. And yeah, then it's all the little small knickknack stuff you need. But yeah, the machines are the biggest expense. I have a hand crank that's probably the most affordable machine I got in front of most cost effective was about 180. So it's just a manual hand crank. So
yeah,
yeah,
man,
it
man.
goes. And like I said, then you gotta look at the material. Like if you want to just, I was a leather hoarder for a minute until I got out of that. Like you see some nice little. Oh, I gotta get that. Oh, I gotta get that. Oh, that's a specially made leather. Oh, that ain't never coming out again. Let me get that. So I'm thinking leather alone. I probably might have. I might have close to maybe $8,000 worth of leather in my room. Yeah, and so I don't. And most of that stuff from commission price points, I can use some of it, and then some I don't. I include it in the customer's price. But
Yeah, yeah. No,
yeah,
I mean, I was just thinking about that portion of it, right? Because when you talk about pricing, it's like, okay, how much do I have to do one to break even before I could even start making money? on this, right? How many customers I got to have lined up or whatever just to,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, just to be able to get through or, like I said, break even and moving forward. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's like. That's the part people also miss the materials, man. This stuff is
Yeah,
expensive. It's not
this
cheap.
stuff this stuff ain't cheap. And I tell folks all the time, I love it when I get a client who's familiar with shoe search. First thing they say shoe search. Oh, good. I don't have to do a lot of explaining why this price is what it is. I even had some clients that say, "This the right price?" I said, "Yeah, it's the right price." He said, I was expecting it's gonna be a lot more." I say, "Yeah, I could have charged you a lot more, but I like being fair." I can easily say, oh, I can start off at 3,000, but then again, it's like it's that engineer side of me. Is that ethical? Is that from a moral perspective? Is that it just don't sit right with me?
Yeah.
Again, I get it. You can make double profit. That's fine, but I feel like, man, that's greed. Greed can destroy a business, and I see it all the time in Atlanta. I see overpriced this, overpriced everything's overpriced. I want to price it fair. I want to make sure my time is accounted for. I want to make sure my skills is accounted for, but at the same time, I want to be fair. So I think that's how I get a lot of clients to say, "Hey, man, this pricing is not bad." I was like, "No, it's not at all," because you can compare my quality to one of the best in the game and see what is what. Now I might not have
Yeah.
the biggest name, but I stand on my quality. So when it comes, you look at that pricing, like you said, look into what people pay to produce what you're asking for. You know.
This episode of Lace My Podcast is brought to you by Davidito Designs. Davidito Designs is my website, is where you can go and cop some merch from me. You can also put in a request for some custom shoes, and we can take your vision, your idea, and take it from your mind and put it onto a pair of kicks of your choice. Once again, Davidito Designs is my website. Go on, support, and I greatly appreciate it. Okay, so something that you just touched on made me think about something. So right now there is this. I don't know if I want to say it huge, but there is I would say a strong voice maybe or a perspective of people having a problem with hustle culture and people hustling. You know what I'm saying to get to where they want to be, right?
Mhm.
And just thinking about one having a full time job and then doing this on the side as an entrepreneur and trying to grow. What is your thought in that space?
Oh man, I think that's something I challenge. I'm challenged with every day of trying to trying to break away from the two, right? From my career path, and to my side hustle. I think today in today's age, you need something. And it's good if you want to just do one, that's fine. But for someone who's doing two, I mean that's cool as well. But man, it's the hustle culture is strong. It's real strong. Like I get it when you first start in your business, you gotta pour everything to it. But I think at a point of when I say like I want to have my own shoes, I want to somewhat break away from being hands on. So I think that's where it goes into that hustle culture. Like, hey, I gotta keep going to get to this point where it said, hey, I want to at least try to break away to be hands off, so I can see the money just pouring in. When like Nip said, I don't have to show up. The money just gonna just, but the money will just be there. I
Yeah,
think that's where it all comes in. But I tell anybody this, like, you have to start somewhere. So a lot of people start off with the hustle, and then like I said, a lot of times, like Kyle Pfeiffer said, hey, I just enjoy the hustle. I enjoy the game. I like being in it. So
yeah,
it's one of those, like, if you like the hustle and bustle, that's fine. If you want to just want to hustle for a minute and then just, kick your feet up, that's fine as well. Like some people like being hands on. I'm a hands on person, but I don't mind, expanding and to eventually get to that point where I can sit back and watch and let my business run itself. But also, if I see something that needs to be addressed, I can hop in and do it as well. But yeah, but everyone I know, just growing up, I always was told, hey, have something on the side, do something, you know, just don't expect to have, one stream of income coming in. You initially need two or three. And it hit me when I started understanding once I left one company I was working with back in 2020, that like, man, I didn't have nothing coming in. Me and my wife, we both left. So it's like, yeah, we don't have nothing rolling in, so we have to figure something out. So that's when I started trying to learn stocks, and that was fun. But woo, man, that the rate of return and the volatility, I said, woo wee. But yeah, you start playing with them calls and puts, and yeah, 2020 was a good time to learn a lot of that stuff. It was like, all right, perfect. But as far as having something else you can do, like that's when I started thinking about the custom sneakers. Like, what am I good at that I can possibly make money off of? I'm good at a lot of things, but it's like, what's something I know I can, impact others, you
Yeah.
know, create a stream of income, and also be do it on my time when I want to. And I'm like, all right, let me just try to pour and get good at this. But then, like I said, that hustle come in because you can do your 9 to 5, and then after your 9 to 5, you spend with your family. Then you probably got that 9 to 12 to give to your business or however long. Because like Rick Ross says, for Friday hit, everybody thinking about the club, trying to go out. From a hustle perspective, an entrepreneur, when Friday hit, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, oh, that's the time to grind right there.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, that hustle culture is strong now, and I've seen it. I've seen it grow. I say during COVID. COVID, oh, everybody had something going on. You name it. Everybody making masks. People were making masks. People were making. One of my boys, Darius Buckner, he started off making masks, my sewing masks, and then next thing you know, he had his whole bow ties. So I'm like, man, he had a dope line. So shout out to my guy Darius Buckner, man, of the naughty guy. Real cool, real cool. That was a good day. Matter of fact, he motivated me to do something different to start my business itself. So I really appreciate the people I had around me to say, hey, let's do this. Another one of my brothers, Addy, he got his tailored suit collection called Crown and Wealth. And man, I love to see my brothers doing well, and just seeing that, I'm like, well, you gotta have something. Everyone is still in their careers, working a 9 to 5, doing their thing. But yeah, when you get laid off, what else you got?
Yeah.
You got your side hustle,
Yep.
because your side
Yep.
hustle can come be your main hustle that could probably change your life.
Yep.
And like I said, I
Exactly.
felt that once I got laid off in 2023 by a company I left my last company work for to go to this one. And after 3 years, they decided, hey, we want to eliminate some certain roles, and mine was affected. So my
Yeah.
wife, she was pregnant with my two girls, my twins, and this, I was out of a job. But then Krown9kustoms was at a point where it could sustain uh like a couple of months, in which it did. That was the most amount of money I made in the time I was laid off from January to April. And I mean, you talk about some hustling, sleepless nights. But man, oh man, I mean to tell you, some invoice clear, invoice paid, and pushing product out. Oh man, it was a beautiful thing. Where I said,
Yeah.
oh, I think God showed me what this can possibly be, and whatever it is for the next level, I'm ready.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was actually just telling my wife. Like, I know some people may think this is crazy, but I feel like I've made millions of dollars for other companies and businesses and that kind of thing, and I would like to use my gifts and talents and make the money for myself, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just giving it away, and then you're disposable at any point, right? So, at any
Oh
point, they
man,
can pull the carpet from under you, and you like, what in the,
I
you
got an
know?
email. So that opened me up real quick. Like that's the same day I got laid off, the same day I came into my office and got to it. I got on my hands and knees and I said, I didn't even pray. I got on my hands and knees. I said, God, let's do this. Got up, cut that sewing machine on. The rest was history.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm getting emotional
yeah,
thinking about it because I
yeah,
remember that day vividly.
yeah, yeah,
Ooh wee, but yeah, man. It's
yeah,
it's it's something it's something special. But you got these career, these jobs. You do a year end performance every single year. Just to get they give you get a 2, 5, maybe 10% increase. But if you're giving me 2, 5 to 10% increase, how much did I make you this year? How much? How far did my efforts go? in that 40 hours, what can I do to improve myself?
Yeah. I
I'm
know
like,
exactly
dang.
where I know exactly what mines were though, because I worked in higher education for a long time,
Okay,
and
right on.
bringing new students in, man. You know what I'm saying? Like one year we up 16%, the next we up 5, then we up 10, then we up 16. Like I know what I'm bringing in because I know how
Yeah.
much it is for each student to make it through this program. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I'm like, I ain't seeing that. But
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
so
Same here. Like I said, I'm inside sales. Hell, $1 million jobs be coming through. I'm like, that I wasn't part of. Like, wait a minute.
yeah,
Where my little cut?
yeah, exactly,
But hey,
exactly.
but like I said, it's we all chess pieces. So until you
Yep.
decide you want to make your way to be the queen or the king, you know, for the moment, meantime, you might got to be a pawn.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Which is a beautiful segue. So why the name?
Crown. So like I said, I'm a new. My line name is Crown Black.
Okay.
So my line name is Black. My line number is number 9.
Okay.
Nine.
Okay.
I'm also born September. So that's a 9 right there.
Yeah.
I wear a size 9. And man, I can tell I can keep on going, but so yeah, it's just called Krown9 and this, it went to so many names. I said I like this. I like Krown9, like K9K. Like, okay, cool. And then it just stuck. It just
yeah.
stuck. So Krown9 created my LLC, Krown9 LLC. So I operate under the name Krown9kustoms. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Dope. What would you say is the biggest thing that you've learned so far in this journey?
Man, help others. Help
Mm,
others. Don't gatekeep. I got so many get like to a point. Some folks I ask now, like when I ask all those questions, they're starting to follow me now, and I just look at them. I'm like, okay, or they ask me questions, but and I'll still help. I don't even bring up old stuff. Say, you remember when I asked X, Y, and
hmm
Z? I'm like, man, I'm a firm believer. What goes around comes around, but to a point of God has blessed me with so much. I don't mind lending that hand. I don't mind helping you out. Like one of my guys, Duncan Custom Kits, when he first got into the game, I remember gave him 3 years of game and just a conversation. He took it all and he took off. So what I mean, the biggest thing I learned, just like I said, just helping others. I don't understand why people don't like helping one another. Maybe they're afraid that they don't get outshined. You know, that's enough light for everybody to get shined on.
Yeah.
Me helping you is not gonna dim my light. So I think, helping others, being respectful to others, understanding where others are coming from when they're from the artist space. And not all artists are on the same level. Not all artists have the resources, you know. And just being patient. Don't rush the process. I would say respect the process. Don't rush it. Because there's been plenty of times where I'm like, all right, I want to get to right here really, really fast. But it doesn't go like that. You have to mess up. You have to keep doing things over and over again. And you got to be patient and just take your time. Um, yeah, there's so many things I learned just over time, man. And one big thing for me, where it probably can save a lot of people money, don't jump in something too quick. Do your research first. If someone is recommending, hey, for example, Venimo thread. Venimo thread is the best thread there. Not talking about Venimo, but for my experience, for my machines, it it doesn't work well with some of the materials I use. So sometimes we got to pivot to use. I like using thread 69. I think it's abundant. It was abundant polyester, polyester instead of the abundant nylon thread because it doesn't cake up as much. But Venimo thread is great for if you hand sewing certain things with that size 8 thread. So there's little certain things like that I would have learned, over time. Just say, all right, which thread is the best before you make that initial investment. That's one. Reaching out to others. Don't be afraid to contact somebody. Yeah, you might get rejected, but what's the worst they can say? If you got a
Yeah.
question, ask. If you don't know what you're doing, because who you gonna ask? So that's one thing. Don't be afraid to collaborate with others.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to work with somebody. I'm still learning how to trust people. I want to get to a point
Mm-hmm.
where I can hire somebody to work with me, but it's kind of hard when that same person don't have that same eye or that same level of detail that you do,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, you send the custom out, they ain't gonna say so and so messed it. They gonna say, Crown9kustoms, the
Yeah.
company messed it up.
Is your name
So
on it?
it's like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
my
sure.
name on it. So I think I'm still in that point of learning how to trust and understand people when it comes to trying to expand or move forward.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, take
So
time
with that
and
being said, give a new customizer one tip for somebody who's just starting out. One tip that you would have loved to
yeah,
have had when you started.
yeah. From a painting perspective,
Either way.
I'll say for painting, just one tip: um, prepping, prepping your materials. I think that prepping the surface. Yeah, I think that would have been a great thing to understand prepping and how to use an airbrush gun. I say
Mm,
before you jump into using an airbrush gun, learn how to hand paint first. So yeah, I
yeah.
think that's from a simple perspective. I keep on going, but from there, learn how to prep, learn how to hand brush before you transition to airbrushing.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
one thing that turned into three things. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you have a few years under your belt now. You've done quite a few customs. This is probably one of the questions that's a little bit harder for people to answer, right?
Mhm.
I need your top five of the shoes that you've made.
Top five. Yeah, okay, my top five. Jesus Christ. Man, okay, I think the red October's Air Jordan 1 off whites, all Python I did.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that I said that's number one. Um Two, I love the I did oh man, trying to think. I love the FAMU pairs. I did like it was like three. I put that's definitely my top five. All three of those.
Hmm.
um I do the shell cordovan pairs. Man, I did the shell cordovan all black, off white low. That's one in there. The Gucci one, yeah, the Gucci alligator with the
Hmm.
python. That's in there. And from a painting, I even throw a painting on there. I say the Omega top three customs I've done. So
Okay.
I would definitely say that. I definitely say that. If I was looking at my profile, I'll probably look at it like, damn, I've got to get these. Oh man, but yeah, I mean, each one of them are special, man. It's kind of hard to just pick five, but yeah, if I can, let me see what I got in here. I can definitely say the Tuskegee joints I did, but my alma mater was a dope one. Yeah, yeah, I definitely think that. Matter of fact, with these right here, with autism awareness coming up,
Yeah, I was like, you just dropped those, right?
yeah, I just did these. I gotta take these to the client. So, but yeah, yeah, matter of fact, I gotta take pictures of them first so I can post tomorrow. Those were, I mean, I love the color, I love the palette. So yeah, a lot of them. It's kind of hard. Like each one of those, like your baby, you spend so much time with them. It's like, man, my wife's Delta Customs, hers did really well. But I got a lot of sisters of Delta Sigma Theta sorority incorporated. Shout out to them. They be hitting me up about them. So hers were the first ones, and I mean, it just took off from there.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's dope.
yeah,
That's
man,
dope.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. How long you been customizing for?
Um, Jesus, on and off for I would say probably started probably about 10 years ago and then
Okay.
picked it up like pretty well like during COVID again, made
Hmm.
another switch, learned a bunch more stuff and then just kind of been very, very slow doing it.
Yeah.
And now kind of picking it up a little bit more. My thing is my brain be all over the place, man. I got so many ideas of stuff that I want to do. So I'll
Write them
get
down. Write them down.
well, yeah, and some of them like I have some of the projects, but I ordered this piece and that piece came in or whatever, and then I
Yeah.
get a customer shoe, so that I'm focusing on their stuff. So I'm just kind of doing a little bit of everything in that space, but I do want to get to the space of cutting and sewing though, for
Yeah.
sure. So
So I definitely got to tip you in that case, and some advice. If you want to get to transition to that space, I say invest in a hand crank patcher before you invest into like a big, like one of these big machines. Hand crank patcher from Bateman, Batem Saddle Tack. I think it's only 189. I say under $200, right? So you just bake your own platform and pretty much you can learn from there. The pattern's not that expensive. You get a last, and you can learn so much off YouTube and
yeah,
Instagram. So back in 2020, it was a lot of people that were making reels on how they made shoes. So I honestly think if you're an individual that can, is a visual learner, you can put all the videos together and pretty much teach yourself how to do so. I know Prakashi, he did a great job. He's self-taught. There's a lot of artists that are self-taught that are doing a great
mhm,
job for themselves. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He be making some dope cleats too, boy.
yeah,
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 for sure, for sure. I think he's got. I would say he gotten to the point where he's mastered it for sure, with
yeah.
his stuff. So that's been pretty dope. So, thanks for being on. How can the people find you? Where can we reach you? Where can we follow you?
Oh man, you find me at Krown9kustoms, K, that's spelled with a K, Krow9, customs, with the Kustoms. So yeah, on Instagram, feel free, shoot me a DM, like some pics, look some videos, and let me know what you think of my work.
Once again, that's another episode of Lace My Podcast. Martez, thank you once again for being on. I greatly appreciate it. Remember, if you have not done so already, subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I would greatly appreciate it. And while you're at it, go ahead and stop on my website, Davidito Designs. The link should be in the description box. Until next time, remember, fear is fake and creating is problem solving. Peace.
Listen, it takes wisdom to grab these sneakers and spin them. Cut a couple of linen and match them up with the denim core. Davidito, he'll cook it up like a kilo. And have your Air Ones appropriate with the stilo. He's no Lilo, but he's mean with the stitch.